So good morning. And at the very end of today's episode, I'm going to do a pure politics on you. So for those of you who don't want to hear my political views, I'll give you another warning at the end. So we have report after report coming out today that the version 12, the FSD version 12.5 is absolutely the real deal. I did see one report where someone I didn't know said it wasn't great for him, but that is the only negative one I've seen yet. It isn't perfect, and it's not yet complete, but it's very, very close. Bradford Ferguson, a person not given to hyperbole, says it drives like a professional chauffeur. And that's not after a 15-minute drive. That's after 1 2-hour drive and multiple others, with not only him in the so-called driver's seat, but other parts of his crew going out and testing it as well. Okay, so I don't know why the stock is down. I don't know why Tesla's down this morning. It makes absolutely no sense in an up market. Phillips, security analyst, said that there was not much to like. He said his price target at $135, implying a 40% downside from current levels. But you know, what's going on there with that? Of course, what I will say is that he doesn't understand Tesla long term. Right now, I don't know why the market is punishing Tesla today. We got the China subsidies up yesterday. The Cybertruck ramp information was that they're doing very, very well at $1,400 a week. Energy storage, we learned yesterday in the 10Q that there's a huge amount of money sitting there on these UPO dollars that are going to add a $1.7 billion to revenues, which most of that $1.7 billion is profit over the next 12 months. That just increases, that is, 50 cents a share right there. So anyway, I'm not sure what's going on with the stock this morning. There's absolutely nothing I can find that would give us an indication of why it's down. Elon just made it clear again. The dumb analysts, not all analysts, because some of the analysts are starting to get it, but a lot of the analysts are just ignoring what he says. It's about, the stock is about autonomy. The company is about autonomy. The current stock price is largely about autonomy. It isn't about the current sales. It isn't about the current profits. It's not even about the trend in profits, even if you count energy. You could not justify these PE ratios based on the current profits and the trends in profits. You have to include autonomy. You have to include substantial increases in energy, which are going to happen, but you have to put those in there, and you have to believe that there's going to be a new wave of sales increases and profits next year based on how many new vehicles? 4? 5 maybe new vehicles coming out next year. So if you don't believe any of that, then these analysts would be correct that in the short term, it's probably not for you if you're a player, if you're in and out. I'm not objecting. Some people, that's how they play the stock market, or that's part of how they run their portfolio. So they should probably be out right now. That would probably be a wise decision. But if you think maybe that by the end of the year, things are going to turn around because of something called FSD becoming complete, and then something called FSD potentially becoming unsupervised, and then once it becomes unsupervised, robotaxi becomes a thing, then you should probably be in the stock. All right, I think we know. I think those of you that are in this group probably could have written that last paragraph. All right, well, listen, this is Randy Kirk. Please hit like, subscribe, notify. Later this morning, we will have a phenomenal video from Brian Wang. Yeah, you're going to like this one a lot. And then Larry Goldberg will be on later tonight. So these are unmissables. And of course, I'd love to have you join Patreon. That'd be so helpful right now, trying to get to that number, that $50 an hour. Do you think I'm worth $50 an hour? I used to make a lot more than that. So, but in my old age where I'm doing something that I truly love, I'll take $50 an hour, but the current levels are not there yet. The PCE is very much in line with expectation this morning. Spending and income were both lower than expected, but the market doesn't seem to care this morning. Income was actually off by a lot. It was 2% versus 4% expected. This is what the Census Department said this morning in the numbers. Personal income increased 50.4 billion, or 0.2%. That's the number you care about. It increased 0.2% on a monthly rate in June. Now, that personal income was expected to be up more. I'm sorry, this is the Bureau of Economic Analysis. Did I say the census? Anyway, disposable personal income, less personal income current taxes increased by also 0.2%, and personal consumption expenditures increased by 0.3%. So those were both lower than expected. The PCE price index, however, increased by, the headline number as it's known, increased by 0.1%. That's right, exactly as expected. PCE price index increased 0.2%. The real DPI increased 0.1%, and the real PCE, that is the core number, increased by 0.2%. The goods were actually going up 0.2% and services by 2%. So that 0.2%, I'm sorry. So anyway, all of that gives us about a 2.5, and that is in fact what things were year over year. The personal savings rate, however, continues to be at this really low number, 3.4%, which is one of the reasons I'm believing that we are already in recession. I am holding off after this PCE report. I'm holding off on my prediction regarding the Fed moves. I've been predicting that the earliest Fed move would be November, if there would be any move at all this year. I'm waiting to see the employment data next Friday to make any change in that in my thinking. I know 94% or 100% or almost everybody thinks that it's going to be in September. If this number today had been off, like either way by a lot, like if it had been zero or positive, much more than it was in either direction, if it had been really wacky, then I could imagine things changing with regard to the Fed. I don't think anything that happened this morning changed the Fed's opinion in either direction. And I think that's what the market is also saying. They're saying they're thinking it's September. I'm thinking it's November, except if the Fed decides we are in recession already, which I've already made that determination. That's in my mind. I believe that's true. Everything I'm seeing points to that. Very, very little goes the other way. So anyway, overall, the market is happy with the Fed's, with the PCE this morning because it was in line. So what we've got this morning is Tesla down $4. No idea. I just can't. I don't think it was that Phillips note this morning. Apple down 0.77, Google down 2.58. I don't know. Those Google, the Alphabet thing, you may remember yesterday that OpenAI said they're going to have a search engine, or they do have a search engine that is now out in some kind of beta. So that's maybe impacting Google this morning. The rest of the Magnificent Seven up, okay, decent. But 3 out of the 7 are down this morning, and the Cathie Woods are mixed as well. But if we go to the Dow is up 514 points. The NASDAQ is up 93 points, and the S&P is up 42 points. That would be 1.29% for the Dow. That's really strong. NASDAQ up 0.54%, and the S&P up 0.79%. With Tesla down 1.68%. I have a suspicion, there's no evidence of it right now, but my gut tells me that Tesla will recover most, if not all of this by the end of the day. I don't think it's going to continue down, but what do I know? You cannot predict these things. But that's my gut's telling me, maybe even finishing in the green by the end of the day, because I can't find any news that would be driving this. This would be maybe a lack of buyers at this level, or maybe some strong sellers, maybe some Cathie Woods. She was up 14, 15% of her portfolio right now. She might be selling off some. Okay, let's go in and take a look at the bonds. Just a second here. Okay, here we go. Taking it forever to load. Why? Okay. So bonds are off strongly, which should be good news for Tesla again. So we're down 5.2% to 4.203 on the 10-year. That's a good move. Similar amount on the 2-year, down 5.4 basis points. Okay, I just saw something breaking, which I was going to tell you if it was anything important. Okay, so that gives us 18 basis points, almost 19 basis points again on the spread between the 10-year and the 2-year. Looking at this again, yes, that's what it is. So back up again, it was down around 12, 13, 14%. So moving back up again, inverting more rather than continuing that trend towards the re-inversion into the normal way things are. 2-month is up actually this morning, 1.5 basis points. So that gets us almost to 120. That's 117 basis points spread on that one. The oil right now, we've got the oil at down $1 at 77.28. We've got Brent down $1 also, 81.29. So erasing the gains from yesterday. We're going into the off season. Well, it's August, but the oil market will start to predict the gasoline drop, that will start in September. So this could be predicting a little bit that things are going to be off, in a while. I don't know, but oil is really low. I don't think this is a number that the OPEC people are going to be happy with. They might cut more. We've got natural gas down another 1.32, very close to $2 at 201. Gold rising again, replacing a lot of that fall off from yesterday. $34 this morning, back up to 2,387. Not back over 2,400 again, but a lot of that drop yesterday being reversed. Silver, $27.99. Call it $28. Up 0.07 this morning, still well below the $30, $31, $32 that it was earlier. Copper is up barely this morning, 0.01. Call it even. Whoops, here's an Adam Jonas report coming out right now. As Tesla continues to diversify away from the auto industry and towards the autonomous industrials complex, we want to highlight some interesting information that, while they didn't grab any headlines, may be consequential over time. Revenues from services and other revenues are growing fast. Number 2, next, China sales have peaked, will likely continue to fall, they think. I don't think that's true. I think that's an absolutely wrong. Tesla's AI infrastructure base is by far the fastest rising part of its asset base. Tesla only began breaking out its AI infrastructure CapEx and net asset base just now. According to note on the 10Q, Tesla's AI infrastructure net assets stood at $2.5 billion, up 63 from $1.5 billion at the beginning of the year. We note that the same footnotes show construction in progress at the $6.8 billion level, which among other items includes an AI-related assets which are not yet placed in service. We reckon investors will be paying close attention to the growth of this infrastructure base as Tesla provides greater disclosure on its Gen AI/embodied AI efforts. So the note is good, except for this China sales number, which I think he's completely wrong on. But that was just breaking, as I mentioned. I keep my eye on that breaking news. All right, so let's see, where were we? We were going to go to the dollar, we have copper. Copper is up a little bit this morning, but again, almost zero, $4.12. We've got the dollar down against the yen again, up against the euro again. That's been the trend all week long. We have got the Bitcoin up 2,671, recovering almost everything it lost this week, back up at 67,000 level. And that's it. That's everything. And I'll give one more shot at the where Tesla is standing after I get done with my little political rant this morning. Okay, here's what I want to say. Anybody that thinks that Kamala Harris is just the same as Biden, she'll just continue on with what Biden's been doing, is right and wrong. Yes, she will take all the worst things in terms of business in terms of regulation, in terms of DEI, in terms of all the things that make me unhappy about the Biden administration, and she'll just make them worse. She was the most liberal person in the Senate, and that was a third-party analysis. She was more liberal than Bernie Sanders. She is a strong believer in DEI, so much so that she says repeatedly, we need equity. We have to have equity. Everybody doesn't start off with the same stuff, and we want everybody to be equal at the end. That's our goal, is equal at the end, whatever that means. Now, in order to do that, let me know in the comments below how I'm wrong on this. If you have an uneven playing field, because people are born with different capabilities, people come from different places, people are perceived by other people as being other because we're tribal. All those things are true, okay? But if we start out with different capabilities, we start out being born with different abilities and different skin colors and different ethnicities, and our parents might be alcoholics or not. I mean, we have all of these differential things that we have when we start out in life. But we want equity at the end. How do we equalize that? How do we get from unequal to equal outcomes? How do you do that? If I have any understanding of this at all, the only way you can do that is by giving the people who you think are unequal, who you think got a bad rap, who got a bad start, who somehow are just sadly that we have to have empathy for these people that are just not the same as others. We have to either give them money or we have to give them unequal opportunities. We have to do unequal things for them to equalize with regard to those who got privileged beginnings. Now, that could be height, that could be skin color, that could be eye color, that could be where you were born, what part of the country. It could be, according to the Democrats right now, that would be anybody born to a Republican parents, because, we're deplorable parents, we're deplorable people. And therefore, if you're born to a deplorable, you're going to have to get unequal treatment to raise you back up into a non-deplorable status. So if you understand my meaning here, it's going to be whatever group I choose. If I'm president, I get to choose the groups that are underprivileged, that are somehow not getting the same as some other group. It could just be height. It could just be ethnicity. It could just be religion. I mean, right now, is there any question in your mind that the liberals think that that religious people are not quite as good as non-religious people, as atheists, or people that are not very religious? I mean, that are just kind of a little bit religious. I mean, is there any doubt in your mind that white males right now are the least accepted crowd out there? Shouldn't white males be getting help right now to get back up in order to get to equity? I mean, you just got to pick your group, and whatever group is in favor, they're going to get some kind of unequal treatment. Is that what we want in America? I just don't get it. Now, I'm just going to do two of these this morning because I guess it's driving me crazy. The Democrats are telling us that that's what they're going to do. And they're also telling us that they're going to stack the court. So if they get a majority in both houses, enough of a majority in both houses, and if they get the presidency, they are going to add 4 Supreme Court justices. They're telling us. This is not maybe. Biden says it and Kamala says it. They're going to increase the Supreme Court by 4 in order to get the majority back. They're going to increase it by 4, and then they're going to put 4 people they want in there so that they can have the majority back. It's not maybe. If they can, they will. Let me know in the comments below where I'm wrong on this. Okay, that's it. That's all I wanted to say this morning. Just a little rant, because it's important. It's going to impact your future. It's going to impact your financial future. I guarantee you, because most of you and your children are right now in what they perceive to be the privileged class, and they're going to try to take it away from that group and give it to whichever group they think is underprivileged at the moment. All right, let me give you one last shot at what's happening with Tesla right now. Still down. No, this, I'm sorry, it's down $4.23 and heading down, although maybe flattening out in the bottom, but nope, headed down. I don't know. I'll figure it out. If I figure it out, I'll let you know later what's going on. All right, this has been Randy Kirk. It's been great talking to you. Please, a little Patreon would be so helpful. It's been great talking to you.